Good morning and welcome to the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips, President of the Palm Coast Flagler Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are grateful for our sponsorship from Cline Construction, building the future of Flagler County for the past 30 years. Smart technologies, they make business easy. Intracoastal Bank of Palm Coast, community banking the way it should be, member FDIC. And finally, Katz Green, Flagler County's personal injury attorneys since 1996. On today's episode of the Chamber Business Report, we are grateful to have Curtis Ceballos in the studio with us. Curtis, welcome. Look forward to hearing more about you and your story with InvisaCook. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was a pleasure and an honor to be here.
And I've got Kelsey Lombard, our co-host, with us. Good morning, Kelsey.
Hi, good morning.
So, Curtis, the CEO, founder of InvisaCook?
Well, I am now taking another position, which is Chief Development Officer.
Okay.
And Chairman of the company.
Fantastic. Yeah. And it is a family company, not just you. Your son is involved? Is still involved as well?
My son works for the company, and that's it. I could not have my wife involved in the company. No.
Let's talk a little bit about InvisaCook. Before we get to InvisaCook, I did not know you're a veteran of the United States Air Force, so thank you for your service.
Thank you.
How do you transition from military veteran to entrepreneur and business person? I know that was a relatively long transition, but where did this business and entrepreneurship spark come from in your life?
I don't know. My mom says it came from when I was little. We used to have HO tracks. Remember the HO?
Oh, yeah.
So I used to make the little car bodies for the HO cars and sell them to my friends for $0.25 a piece in school. And I guess and I used to come up with all these different bodies and stuff and make them at home. And she said it came from there. But InvisaCook is a completely different animal. I mean, the story behind InvisaCook is very nice. And it's true. I always tell people, ask me, how did InvisaCook come about? My next response is, do you want me to lie or tell you the truth? The lie is always a lot more fun. I had 2 bags of $5 million a piece, and I brought them and I put them into the company, and the rest is history.
What's the truth?
And that's a great story, but it's not anywhere close to the truth, because I've heard the true story, and it has something to do with the dream.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So about 7.5 years ago, whoever the entity is, or good Lord above that I believe in, brought this in a dream to me over 2 nights. I drew it on a piece of paper. I had no idea what I was doing. I've never done this. I was a computer nerd, computer engineer, hardware engineer. I worked for Bright House. I worked for Windstream as a network engineer, and again, an account engineer for the businesses and giving them their ability to use PCs, and I would do hardware only. So I had no idea what I was doing with this. I can code, but I just don't have the patience for it. Never had it. And then I built the first one, failed miserably. The second one actually exploded in the house and started a fire. My family almost divorced me. My daughter came over one day, and she's looking outside, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she says, "Well, I'm looking for the convertible Porsche and the blonde with the big, whatever, because you're obviously going through a midlife crisis." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And Dad, are you sure? I go, "You're gonna have to trust me on this one. This is a big deal." And she says, "Okay." And now
here we are today.
Here we are today in over 67 countries, 340 dealers worldwide. On TikTok, we've gotten anywhere way above 10 million views a month.
Wow.
Hashtag InvisaCook at over 15 million a month. So it's been legitimized, and it's also been accepted as a good brand worldwide. The name InvisaCook in Northern Europe has become a very lucrative and very nice high-end name for products, and as in other parts of the country, but not here in Florida.
Well, maybe after this show, we'll have some impact. So let's talk a little bit. We don't want to get into too much of the physics, because most of the audience would get lost, myself included. But induction technology behind InvisaCook, and let's talk a little bit about that and why someone we'll start with the space side. of just space in your kitchen, and then we'll transition into the environmental side of why induction technology.
So the induction frequency that I developed is a frequency. It's a frequency that goes through stone instead of most normal induction is with the black glass, which is 3 to 4 millimeters of ceramic glass, and that's what you use as your induction. But it still covers up the countertop. With InvisaCook, you have the ability of not having anything there, and all you do is just wipe it up. I always say that InvisaCook has three things. InvisaCook has efficiency, which you use up to 65% less electricity consumption and no carbon footprint. Number two is real estate. We give you back about 24 square inches up to 36 square inches of empty space that the customer gets back to use to do whatever they want with. Mm-hmm. And of course, the third one is the wow factor. A lot of people, when they see InvisaCook, they go, I want that because my neighbor doesn't have it. Mm-hmm. And that's how it goes. And it's been working very well. There was a comment yesterday on that I get videos and reports every single day, and a customer put in one of those house magazine, I guess. They were asking about different type of induction. And this woman had said, I've had my InvisaCook for 4 years and I love it. That's a vindication to me. That means that we did something correct. And what we've done with InvisaCook is a little bit different than other companies. We've evolved using all the ideas from the customer to be able to evolve the product to where it is now.
Which is the wow factor, which
Exactly.
I have actually experienced coming down and seeing you put your display on and the water boiling in less than
a minute and a half.
A half.
Basically half the time normally, roughly.
Yeah, 25% faster.
Definitely sets you apart.
Yeah, so the evolution of a countertop cooking system, in my mind, and this is probably way too simplistic, there's four options in a traditional. You got the old electric coils that most of us probably grew up with, gas, which is, those two are very common. And then the more modern would be the glassware, as you referred to, which does give you a relatively clean, flat countertop, but it still has some limitations to it. And then the, version 4.0 would be InvisaCook, the induction technology, where you have a totally clean surface, and it could be marble or granite or whatever your choice that you're looking for.
Porcelain, granite, non-resin marble, and non-resin quartzite. And if you do use a natural stone, you have to sign a natural stone waiver because we don't know what's inside the countertop. If there's metal flakes in that natural stone, it'll cause the frequency to bounce and not work at 100%.
Yeah.
So it's really important to us. So that's why we ask customers. Porcelain is probably the best surface to use, and you can cook on it. It's scratch proof. It's almost 100% antibacterial because there's no pores. It's not porous at all, and you could cook on it, and it handles heat very well.
Let's turn our attention now. So we talked about this earlier about so you've got the concept of InvisaCook from how it looks and how it feels. Let's talk about the environmental side of things. Again, if you're cooking with gas or in other countries, and we can get to this later as well, it might be with cooking over wood or cooking over anything that burns. You're going to put off some byproducts, we'll call them carbon. In your case, we don't have that. When you burn gas, when you burn wood, when you burn other things in third world countries that we don't want to cook over, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. In your case, none of that. So the environmental side is much better and use less electricity. Well, let's talk about the environmental side first.
The environmental side of InvisaCook, I think, is wonderful because this is a fact. This is not going away. There's already 6 states that are starting to use it. 3 of them already have enacted it, where they have removed natural gas and all gas products as an installation in residential homes. New York has gone one step further, and not only you cannot use gas, but you can't even remodel, and it's not going to grandfather. You have to remove all the gas from your residential home or apartment or condo, and you have to put in electric. either coil, induction, some sort of electric type of heating. It's happening. It's growing. You see all these announcements of homes, like in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, a whole city block explodes and kills 15, 20 people that are sleeping because there was a gas leak. And one little spark just will make that, and just, it's bad. So this is the reason behind that. Not only that, it's the carbon footprint that's given out with coil, electric, gas, propane. What happens is when you cook, you put your pan on the coil or gas, the particulates from the food and the oil that's in the pan actually bounce out of the pan, and then it's a live heat or live flame burns those particulates and causes soot. That's why you need a hood.
Yeah. In a commercial space, you see them quite often.
Even in residential.
In a residential, you don't see it very often, but it doesn't mean you don't need it.
No, but you do. Actually, it's a code. You have to have it. With induction, you don't need an extraction fan, because what you're doing is there's no live flame to ignite those particulates. So it's water vapor that's being given up. Even the odor of the food goes away within 5 to 10 minutes because it just dissipates in the air. So it makes it a lot feasible, a lot better to use induction than any of those other cooking techniques.
And then the other thing, from a safety standpoint, we've always been taught as kids, don't put your hand on the hot surface where the pan was, because it stays hot for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on what the cooking surface is that you're using. Whereas with induction technology, the pan is hot, but once the pan is removed, the surface is nothing.
Correct. My vet the other day said, I wish I knew about you 2 months ago. And I go, why? And she was like, I was cooking on my induction glass cooktop, and my cat jumped up there and burned his paws. Right. Yeah. And so, he had to, and so that's another reason. I mean, kids, animals touching that top. If it's just warm and doesn't burn you, that's fine. That's going to happen over time. A little bit of residual heat from the pan, but normally you can boil it, put your hand on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I especially think about kids cooking, and that's
correct.
You actually had me put my hand right on the stove right after you boiled the water, and I was shocked that it was.
You actually yelled first.
I did yell.
So a little bit about the background. InvisaCook, you said about seven
and a half years.
7.5 years?
We've been in business 7 years. June 1st of this year, we've been in business for 7 years. So wow, it's been 8 years since I had the dream. So yeah.
And it all came to you, and version 1.0 didn't go so well. Version 2.0 might have even been worse.
Yeah, it was worse.
with a potential fire. But whether it was version 3.0 or 3.5 or 4.1, whatever the number is, really doesn't matter. Stick-to-itivity. I know that's not a word, but I like to use it sometimes. You had a commitment to it. You knew that it could be a possibility.
Yes.
And here we are, 7, 8 years later, you've gone from Curtis with one technology in your home to 67, 68 countries, dealers worldwide, and making an incredible impact, not only across Flagler County and Florida and the United States, but across the world with your product, with InvisaCook.
Well, we hope that we'd like to think so. I mean, I've been here 28 years. This is my backyard. This is my home. I don't want to go anywhere. And I told Sheriff Staley the other day, he said, congratulations on everything you're doing. I go, you know what? I just want to be able to put Flagler County on the map. Yeah. Give them a voice, the rest of the world, that we can do it here. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just amazing that not only do you make your products here and manufacture here and ship from here, like you are a true Flagler County small business that grew from there. So
we are thrilled to have you here in Flagler County, and
thank you very much.
To watch your business grow.
We got a lot more to. We have a lot more to go. You're going to see some stuff in the next couple of years that are really going to be pretty exciting.
And that's what I was going to say too. Your InvisaCharge. I know I have one in my office.
And how's it working?
It's working good. But can you tell us a little bit more about that? And
sure. My first version of the InvisaCharge was all black, and I thought it'd be sexy packaging, and it didn't. It was okay, but I didn't like the way it worked. So we started upgrading the product, and now we have InvisaCharge, and a lot of people we got a contract out with Lowe's, and we sell it on Lowe's nationwide. On their website, they sell our pans and the charger. And the charger is using the same technology, doing an invisible charging situation for cell phone. You just put your cell phone on the countertop and it charges with no wires or anything.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I look forward to learning more about it and hearing more about it. But first, we do need to take a short time out here. We're at our mid-segment break. We're talking with Curtis Ceballos. He is the founder of InvisaCook, InvisaCharge, and some other products as well that we can talk more about. And he is a wonderful entrepreneur right here in our very own Flagler County. The Chamber Business Report is brought to you by Cline Construction, Intracoastal Bank, Katz Green, and Smart Technologies. We'll take a short time out, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips, joined by Kelsey Lombard, our co-host here on the Chamber Business Report. Thanks again to Intracoastal Bank, Katz Green, Cline Construction, and Smart Technologies. We're visiting with the founder of InvisaCook, Curtis Ceballos. Curtis, you've had some wonderful attention to InvisaCook over the years. Time Magazine 2023, one of the top 200 best inventions of the year, and then you got to be incredibly proud of that. I mean, Time Magazine, come on. Yeah. It's just wonderful to see that sort of exposure. But maybe something that probably got more eyeballs on it was your connection with the Property Brothers, and you were featured in several episodes and with that partnership. Tell us more about that.
So Jonathan and Drew Scott from the Property Brothers, they're great guys. The one thing that I wanted to just share with everybody is that throughout this journey with InvisaCook, we have never gone out to any of these people that have seen InvisaCook and gone, oh, wow, that's really cool. We'd like to talk about it. They all came to us. I mean, the Property Brothers wanted us to give them a lot of money, and we didn't have it. We're a small business, and that's not going to work. And finally, they said, we love your product. We're going to put it on one of the shows and see how it does. Lo and behold, they put it on the #1 most viewed episode in their history, which was Celebrity IOU with Snoop Dogg. That was the very first one that got done with InvisaCook on there, and it was just, it took off. They keep replaying it over and over. So we did about 5 shows with them. We did a contract with Magnolia Network. We've done one show with the Magnolia Network. If you go to Max, it used to be HBO Max. If you go to In with the Old, season 6, episode 6. If you watch that, you can watch it online. It's we're on there. They've been around for quite a while, and it was really nice that they called us and we want to put you inside some of our projects, and so we did. Yeah,
I think if you just Google InvisaCook, you're going to pop up with a lot of videos that you can learn more about the product, and that's one thing to do. And a lot of folks watch our show online, so you're already on your computer or on your phone, so you can learn more about InvisaCook and see Curtis and the man who has the Midas touch. It seems like Snoop Dogg. You got the Midas touch, but to partner with Snoop Dogg, right? Everything Snoop turns to it turns to gold. It seems like he has become the voice and the face of so many wonderful things.
He's a very intelligent man.
He sure is.
He really is. Yeah. He really is.
So, well, you have taken InvisaCook as an entrepreneur and built that into a successful business, but you've spun off several other things, and I want to have a chance to talk about Sun Cooks, which is an opportunity to take the induction technology and expand upon it. And I want to give you a chance to share more about that.
Sun Cooks was a pet project of mine from the very beginning that I had started. I started reading about IAP, which is indoor air pollution, and 4.7 million people per year on an average die of IAP. And 2.3 million of those 4.7 are children under 10 years old. And what IAP is in the villages, they use dung, wood, grass, to cook inside of a hut, and all that smoke is kept in there, and the people die of the lung inhalation of the carbon inside them over time, and it's a long, drag-out process. From what I understand, it's not very nice. My thought was to be able to build a 2-burner unit using a solar generator that'll hold 4 hours of power, so you can use it to cook cleanly in the villages, and then have an extra couple hours to power a computer, a lamp, a fan, something else that would be useful for that village. And we wanted to put those units, those donations in the company's name. So how it would work is real simple. Everything I try to do is simplistic, is to give these projects to, or these units to the companies like, say, Dow Chemical. $2,500 will get you a unit for this village, and it'll be donated in your name. And they've liked that so far. And that's what this year and next year, we're giving our 501(c) more love to be able to do that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's an amazing impact that you're going to make around the world. And, oftentimes here in the United States, we don't think of the IAP because we most of the time don't have to face that. There are some particulates that come off of cooking with gas, obviously, but in those other countries, whether it's grass or dung or wood or whatever those products they might be using to cook with, really have no idea what that's doing to their people. But now this is a way to help them. And, does it save one life? That's enough. Does it save 100?
We save one child's life, we won.
Yeah.
And just those statistics, under 10 years old, and that's amazing.
So Sun Cooks is a wonderful opportunity, again, using solar power, solar technology, along with induction. And as you said, not limited to just cooking, although it does eliminate the byproducts of cooking with a fire, an open fire, and the carbons that come off of those. But the other things, as you mentioned, a fan, a computer, whatever it might be for that village. And oftentimes we think of, countries in the continent of Africa, but it's not limited to just Africa. Yeah. There's other parts of the world as well where these villages, even here in our own country, without a doubt, this opportunity. So it's a wonderful thing. And these are some of the spin-offs that have come from the start of InvisaCook. Let's talk about your entrepreneurial spirit, because you start InvisaCook and then it's not just InvisaCook. It's turned into other things. And talk more about that in your background and how we can help other entrepreneurs through you and your knowledge, and how we as the Chamber can partner to help do that.
One of the things, and one of my dreams has always been, living here for 28 years in Flagler County, is to be able to give back to the community, which is what I'm doing now, but give back more in a sense of learning and teaching to be able to become independent. Because the entrepreneurship is about independence, and a lot of people don't realize that 76 to 79% of the U.S. business is and jobs are done by small businesses, and we don't take care of them all the time, and we should. Here in Flagler County, we really don't have an entrepreneurial program, which I hope that with this new chamber that we're going to be able to do, to give, not to do it for them. We want to teach them to be able to do what I did, to do what other people have done. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he's going to eat for the rest of his life. Yep. And that's what we want to hopefully try to do with the spirit of entrepreneurship through the chamber, through Palm Coast, the Palm Coast Regional Chamber, because it's been a while and we've needed that. And I think it's time now that we have a lot of people moving into this area, which blows me away. And where are all these people going to work? That's my question. Where are they going to work? We're not going to. I don't want this to become a slum. I don't want this to become an area with all foreclosures and stuff. Let's get these people to open up businesses that are useful, maybe not just here, but in the area that are going to help us.
Yeah, I appreciate your entrepreneurial spirit and your willingness to pay it forward. 80% of the businesses in Flagler County have 5 or less employees. Let me say that again. 80% of the businesses in Flagler County have 5 or less employees. So the lessons that you've learned along the way, as we talked about, from InvisaCook 1 to InvisaCook 2, and a small fire, and the building a business, and some of the setbacks, and you can only learn those lessons by doing them. And now you're willing, along with others, willingness to pass those lessons along to the future entrepreneurs is going to make all of us better, because they're going to learn from you and maybe not repeat the same mistakes. They'll have their own challenges, and then they can train the next generation and the next generation, and ultimately we all win. That's the goal, right?
That's the goal, is for the county to win, and and I think we're starting to do that. I mean, our eyes are being opened worldwide to Flagler County as an entity being a good area to come and do business at.
Yeah. Florida, the state of Florida, has been very business friendly. Flagler County continues to be business friendly, and people are moving here. Whether we like that or not, people are going to choose to move here, and we need to continue to help them and ensure that when they do move here, they can be successful as small entrepreneurs and in the business cycle. So I appreciate your willingness to serve and help that community. We're going to do that at the Chamber. We don't have an exact footprint or a plan that laid out in terms of a blueprint of exactly what we're going to do, but I can tell you that the entrepreneurial spirit that you and I both share, Kelsey shares, our Chamber shares, and other businesses share, we want to continue to make an impact. And I hope folks who are listening to this will take time to go to the internet and just type in InvisaCook and learn more about Curtis and his experience and his background. And then hopefully as things continue, we can continue to build on this entrepreneurial spirit and this entrepreneurial council, and ultimately all grow together.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
like
your time today. I'm grateful for you coming in, and grateful for your knowledge and your willingness to share it with others. You certainly have a servant heart and servant leadership for our community, and we appreciate you being here in Flagler County.
It's been a blessing living here. It's been a blessing on a daily basis, and I keep saying I'm blessed on a daily basis, not only with my beliefs, but just where I live. This, to me, is a blessing.
Yeah.
Flagler County, living here, I still live here for 28 years. Obviously, I'm here for a reason. I love it because of where I live. I love the background. I love my backyard of where I'm at, and I want to take care of my backyard.
Flagler County is a great place to live, work, and play, and grow your business. So this is the Chamber Business Report, brought to you by Cline Construction, Intracoastal Bank, Smart Technologies, and Katz Green. Thanks again to Curtis Ceballos with InvisaCook, and we will wrap it up. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, folks. Thanks for being part of the Chamber Business Report.
Have a great day.
Bye.